Twitter sent out. Get our bot in here and get the Discord taken care of. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is October 8th. And this is the October 8th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be working on more of the new conversation system. Specifically, we are going to be working on getting, to start, we are going to be working on getting the output log of the conversation that you had and putting that into the input menu. So you can see here that I have a uh, sort of a series of input outputs. The first two are just kind of space filler. They're meant to show you what it would look like for standard input interaction and standard output interaction. But for dialogue, what we want to have happen is the standard input would, of course, be shown like normal, but your output, instead of having a text response, is going to be this kind of collapsible, scrollable area. So you'll be able to click on this to expand it. Obviously, this isn't going to do anything because I'm not playing. And also because I haven't finished the code for it yet. That's what we're going to be doing. So the idea would be that you click on this and that expands it. It'll have like a little bit of an animation of it getting larger, and then it will essentially let you scroll through it like a sub input view, basically, and it'll just show you dialogue, what the log was from the conversation. So it'll be like a little miniature version of it that you can scrub through if you need to find something. So to get things started here, we're going to go ahead and go to input, root, output new, viewport content. All right. So this is where we are currently operating. And the way that this is going to work is we have this concept of a header, which is going to be what you see here, the avatar click to expand. And the format for this, by the way, is going to be the name of the conversation or the person you had a conversation with. And then click to expand if it's collapsed, and then click to collapse if it's expanded. And then we have this is just the header label there, obviously. So that's our header, and then in addition to that, we are going to have something that is going to be a scroll rect. So we're going to go ahead and come up here to UI, scroll view. We are going to go ahead and set this up. This is going to be super weird. So we're going to have this stretch all the way, and we're going to be 50 from the top, which possibly won't work the way I hope it did. I might end up needing to change this. So we're going to. So I think the viewport is the important thing because that's our mask. Yeah. So this is just going to be a. I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to add a rect mask 2D. So that should, in theory, cut everything off that is not utilized. But it would seem that things are not quite what I want. Alright, so we want this to be -5 from the bottom there. I'm trying to kind of eyeball this just to see what we're doing. Of course. So that's a thing. Right. Well, we're going to change that then. So we're going to get rid of this rect mask 2D. We're going to put that instead on the fill image here. So we're going to come over to here, add a rect mask 2D. We're going to just toggle that on and off. There we go. That'll cause all that to clip properly. Then we can come back down here to our scroll view with a position of -5. I think that's fine. Let's go to -5. And you are. It's very hard to tell where this ends. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna use this to kind of look at it real quick. So it's got a height of 50, which is what we want. Okay, let's go ahead and zero this out. So our scroll view should have a height of 50 from the top, except it looks like it's getting fudged, which is super weird. Let me think think. So here's where we're running into some amount of difficulty. I'm going to change. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, so we're gonna need a couple of things for this. First up, I'm gonna make this a layout element. We're gonna go ahead and attach that. We're gonna set it to ignore layout. That way we don't have to worry about any of this. We are going to then make this a layout. We're going to give it a vertical layout group, I guess. Yep, that's a lot better, kind of. Oh, it's crushing everything. Get rid of you. We're going to do padding from the top is going to be 50. And of course, everything else is freaking out. We are going to then come down to here. Oh, right. I need to add a content size fitter. So this is going to be a layout content size fitter. I'm going to set the vertical fit to preferred size. Except we get into complicated areas here. You know what? No. No. We don't need to go this far. Let's go ahead and come back here. I'm going to get rid of you. Hold on. Okay, we're going to come back to here. All right, so everything should be pretty much what we want. All right. Okay. Wow, the fill is all kinds of work here, huh? Really? Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Weird. Let's do 5 from the top. Is my background messed up? What's going on here? There we go. Weird. All right, so this scroll view. You know what? I'm actually going to delete that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and make a new rect transform as the child here. Oh, and we are going to be doing coding and design. Nope, that's worse. Design. That's what I meant to click. All right, so I'm just going to call this like history. That sounds good. We're going to go ahead and set this to expand all the way. It's going to be 50 from the top, which I believe is going to give us a size delta of 0, basically. Well, negative 50 in the y, of course. So let's go ahead and go to normal. And here is where things are going to get fun. We're going to need to set you to be like that. We're going to say 50 again and 0 from the bottom. All right. I think that red line means that it's technically flat, but that's fine. So the next thing we want to do is a little bit more extreme. This is going to be difficult. We're going to go ahead and say, I'm going to right click UI, scroll view. We are going to go ahead and stretch this all the way. I actually don't want. Okay, so this needs to change too. We're going to go ahead and set that like that. A height of 0, a position of negative 50. And we're back to being curiously blanketed again. Still have our rect mask there, that's correct. I am going to go ahead and expand this. I don't think we actually need it on here. I think we can do it here. So I'm going to get rid of this layout element. Come up to here. I don't actually need you in there either anymore. We can go ahead and set this up. We're just going to go ahead and expand that. All right. We're getting back to normal. So we're going to come down to here. I'm going to go to conversation section. I'm going to make this 60. Yep, that's about where we were. I'm going to make this larger. We're going to go to like 150. This is probably 300 is about what we want for the log to be visible. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Come down to here. History is going to be stretched. So we were. So this approach is probably closer to what I wanted. We're going to give it 0.5 again. We're going to be 50 from the top and 0 from the bottom. Okay. So you can see that that's all grouped up now. We're going to come down here. I'm going to remove that image. We're going to remove that canvas renderer. We're going to go down here to our viewport. Actually, before we do anything else, I'm also going to scroll this up to about 600 so we can kind of see what this looks like when it's all there. And we'll do 615. All right. So with that, we're going to get rid of our scroll bar horizontal because that's not going to be a thing. We are going to keep our scroll bar vertical, and we are going to make this, we're going to go all the way back to here. We're going to set this to be none, and we don't want it to be horizontal. It's going to be clamped. Sure, we'll have initial scroll sensitivity of 15. Come back to here. Yoink. Okay. All right. And you know what? Before I forget, let's go ahead and pull view conversation in here because I want to grab my scroll recs from there. So topic area, panel, background, scroll view. Come back down here. We're just going to go ahead and paste that there. Pow. What were you set up to do? There's 0, 50. Okay, so 0 all around and 50. And we don't even need the 50 there. We can make that 0. Okay. I'm going to get rid of you. Change this to scroll bar. History. Come back to here. We're going to have a vertical scroll. Oh. Womp womp. Okay, let's try that again. Scroll bar. That's what I need. Okay. So that's negative. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. That's below. That's a child. Sibling of this. Okay, scroll bar. Let's go ahead and copy that. Paste. Component values. That's all pretty good. Let's go ahead and assign that. Kapow. All right. We're looking good. The fact that it's kind of already set up is weird to me. I don't really know why that's happening, but okay. Content. We want to go ahead and zero that out. We're going to go ahead and add. So this is where it's going to get fun. We need this to expand, so we're going to go ahead and say add a layout, a vertical layout group. We don't need padding, I don't think, but I'll go ahead and do 10 all around just to be safe. And then let's go ahead and we're going to say layout, content size fitter, vertical fit, preferred size. Okay. What's going to happen here is we're going to basically spawn a... Actually, no, we're not going to spawn a label. We're just going to have a label there. So let's go ahead. We're going to add a text mesh pro text. This is going to be our standard label, I guess. Label. We're going to add our 8-bit font. That's pretty good with me. Let's go ahead and do like a long string. Okay. And for that, we're pretty close over here. But I think we're okay. So yeah, that's okay, I think. Looks like we're pretty good there. Is our scroll bar slightly offset? Yeah, it is. Let's go ahead and zero that. Okay. So for this content, there are a couple of things that we're going to need to do. So here's our label. I do not recall. Okay. Put that there. We're going to go ahead and put this to there. We don't have any text effects that we want to use. Expand duration. These are things that I have set up in fields, but I haven't actually done anything with it yet. So we're going to need scroll area layout element. We don't actually need that. We're going to go ahead and assign our scroll view. We do want that. And our header label is right here. And our button is basically this whole thing. I'm a little concerned now that I think about it that the layout group is, or the scroll rect is going to take priority there. It might, but it won't cover everything, so we should be okay. So let's go ahead and assign that button. All right. So all we need now is a scroll layout element. Let's go ahead and open up the script. Because I think all we're going to end up doing is... Actually, is it auto sizing? I didn't even think about that. Preferred height here might be a lot of trouble for us. We'll have to see. I'm a little concerned that it might be driven by all of its children. Maybe. If I turn you off. No, you seem fine. Okay. So there are a couple of other things that I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and add an image here. Image. We're going to have this be anchored to the bottom with a pivot. 0.1 is fine. Height of 5, 0 from the left. We'll do 10 and 10. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and come back down here, actually. So our scroll bar will be 10 from the top. And that means that our... let's see here. I guess that means that our viewport and scroll view should be as well. That would make more sense. Well, Alright, so I'm going to make this the divide. And we are going to actually have that be pivoted to 1. That way it gets cut off. And then the idea here is that we're going to want to set this size up to basically... So we're going to set this conversation section. We're going to drop this to 60. Let's see what happens when we drag this, if I can. There we go. That's all I wanted to do, basically. So 300 seems like a decent length for that. I am going to go ahead and come down here to our viewport, to our label. I'm going to drop this size down to 24, 30. It's a little bit better. I think default are these are using 42. I think 30 is good. I don't want it to be as expansive or as large. I would like it to be smaller. Okay, so I think we're pretty good there. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get rid of you. We are now going to come over here to our conversation section. I'm going to make this 60. That's all we want. Everything else is a little wonky, but it should all orient correctly once we start expanding it. So we're going to come back over to here. I'm going to change this to our... So it's not the scroll layout element. I guess I should call this like section layout element. So do section layout element. There we go. Okay, we're going to bump that up to here, I guess. All right. And now we can change this. So this is going to be 300. I know I'm going to have to set that anyway. Collapsed height is going to be 60. Again, I'm going to have to change this anyway. So we're going to go ahead and say toggle coroutine. I've like half coded this stuff. So we do have the string that we'll be displaying. That is actually already coded. We'll be setting that up in a second. Well, it's already set up, but we'll be retrieving it in a second. Toggle coroutine. So if we are expanding, then while our expand lerp is less than 1f, we're going to say expand lerp plus equals blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to go ahead and say section layout element dot preferred height is equal to mathf.lerp from collapsed height to expanded height. Oops, expanded height. Oh man, I should do a curve based on our expand lerp. I should do that. So let's go ahead and add serialized field, tooltip, private animation curve, and we're going to call this expand curve is equal to animation curve dot ease in out 0f 0f 1f 1f curve to evaluate expand slash collapse movements along. I can't spell along. There we go. So we're going to come back down here, and there's going to be expand curve. Oops, expand curve. There we go. Dot evaluate for expand lerp. Kapow. All right. And then at the very end here, we are just going to go ahead and say section layout element dot preferred height is equal to expanded height. Okay. And then we are also going to go ahead and duplicate this. So when we click initially, we are going to, right, section settings. I don't really need this. I don't remember if I gave this overrides. I think I did. Yeah, so I can add a section settings value there. All right, so let's go ahead and say a to-do list. To-do make custom section settings class. We're going to go ahead and come down to here. I'm going to say private string is going to be avatar name is equal to whatever. All right. So we're going to go ahead and say we're just going to set this to be avatar test for now. But we're going to come back down to here to toggle coroutine, and we're going to say header label dot text is equal to string dot format expanded header. Yep. And then we're going to say comma avatar name. Should be good. Okay. So now I can go ahead and copy this. We're going to actually before I do that, we're going to go ahead and say expand lerp is equal to 1f. Okay. So now I can go ahead and copy all this. And we're just going to paste it right here. This is going to be collapsed header. And then we're going to go ahead and come down here. We're going to say while it's greater than 0f. Or greater than or equal to 0f, I guess. No, we can just do that. We're going to say this minus equals, same thing. Don't have to do anything there. We're going to set u to be 0, and it's going to be equal to collapsed height. All right, pretty straightforward. Toggle coroutine. We got our on header click. All that fun stuff is set up. Cool. So let's go ahead and let this compile. And then I think we'll be in a pretty decent place to test it, actually. All right. So I'll give that a second because you can't rush these things. You gotta let Unity compile. All right. So eventually, if it ever feels like it. All right. We're gonna go ahead and assign you. The scroll area, I'm not actually doing anything with it. I don't know if I need to. I was thinking I could reset it every time it's collapsed, but all right. For now, let's go ahead and set these up. So that's going to be 60, and this is going to be 300. We are going to collapse all of this. And we're going to make this into a prefab. Section conversation, which I'm pretty sure is not what I've used. Yep. This is going to be text section conversation history. Might as well. I'm going to pop this right here. Okay, so that's all nice and set up. Let's go ahead and just turn the UI off. And I'm going to need to create a summary or a settings for this. This is going to be conversation settings, I guess. Hold on. That's that function. Section settings. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say create C# script conversation section settings. Okay. Sometimes I feel like I should have just made it an object instead of making it a base class, but what are you going to do? All right, this is going to derive or be in the text class namespace. We're going to have this be derived from section settings. Then we're just going to go ahead and say public string avatar name is equal to whatever. That's pretty much all I care about. Let's go ahead and come back here to conversation settings. We're going to say settings as conversation section settings dot avatar name. And we'll be able to say avatar name is equal to that. Okay. We are going to go ahead and come down to conversation view. Get rid of a couple of things. Conversation view. Here we are. New conversation section settings. And then I can say avatar name is equal to. I guess we would probably summarize that as name label.text. Seems like the easiest way to handle that. All right, I think that will work. So let's go ahead and let that compile. While that's happening, we can come over here. You can see that we have an empty spot here, and I can now just pop that in there. All right, I'm about 80% confident that it will do what we want there. While that's compiling, I can talk about this. So get summary text is the method I created to basically convert all of the JSON we build up into text that we can display on that label. So what should happen here is when we talk to someone, once you hit back, it will basically spit this new conversation section out. And basically, man, that's going to be a thing. All right. Expansion of it might be a little awkward to start, but we'll see how that goes. All right, I am about 80% sure that we're good to go. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. We should be able to just talk and then back out and get a specific section. Gonna find out. Talk. Type something, huh? Type something, huh? Just out of curiosity, I am about 40% sure that type something in the background is... it's the placeholder text. Right. Right. Let's fix that real quick. I want to change that. We're going to go over here to view conversation. Oh, sorry, I just tried to double click it like it was an. I'm so used to working in 2019. Okay, so we are going to pop back here. We're going to go ahead and revert that just in case. Then we're going to come up here, open you up. We're going to come down to here, go to our input, and I'm going to make my input field placeholder actually be referenced. Let's see what ends up happening there. We're going to go ahead and collapse that. There's a reason that I wanted to do that for the input view, and that was largely due to I needed to have that level of control over it, but I think we'll be fine if we leave it in there as just a standard placeholder for now. Okay, let's try that again. If it feels like it. All right, so talk, kapow. Yeah, there we go. There was some weird reason why I didn't want it, but I don't recall what it was. Anyway, let's go ahead and just say boom. Then we're going to go ahead and hit back. Nice. We don't want it to hide our cursor, though. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Oh, also... Okay, never mind. So, this does seem to work. Cool. I need to force... Ooh, gross. So yeah, it's what's happening there is when it's at the bottom and you click on it, it's expanding the scroll area, but it's not actually scrolling it. And oh boy, that is going to be a thing. That's what I was worried about too when I was groaning. I'm like, ooh, it's not going to be good. Also, hello, Travis. Welcome back. We are currently working on outputting logs from the new conversation system. And this is almost correct. I need to actually set the alignment on the text to be aligned to the right, and then we'll be good. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to come over here to text section. We're going to click on our label. It's going to get me there. I'm going to align that to the right, and then we're going to go ahead and try that again. So it is, the fact that it's expanding is nice, but we do have problems in the sense that it's not expanding the input view as well. And I was actually very concerned that was going to be the case, and that means we're probably going to need to add some wrapper functionality to try to basically scroll the input view along with that, which is not great, really. That's going to be something I've not done before, so we'll see what we do. But yeah, what are you up to tonight, Travis? So we're going to go ahead and say talk. I'm going to... Oh, I didn't check the label. I didn't pay attention. So let's go ahead and... let's do nothing, because that should also give us something. Avatar, huh? Ah, okay. So it just didn't update. Right. So if you type nothing when you go into a conversation and you just immediately back out, it's just going to have this little message saying you were very rude. I probably should center that instead of having it be all the way there. And this is by the way something else I was concerned about. I don't want to have all this extra space if you don't have conversations to basically to fill that up, which makes me think I need to change it a little bit. Oh, actually, you know what? That'll work. Okay. I'm going to I'm going to reference the rect transform of um, the scroll area here, and I'm just going to say if it is larger. Well, we're basically going to clamp. We're going to get whatever the minimum is. It's either going to be the height of the scroll area, or it's going to be the max expanded size. So we can do that real quick. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and collapse that, which looks very nice. But now we need to do the reverse at some point. So let's go ahead and stop real quick. I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to change it so that when we call close. I guess actually I can do that here. We are gonna not hide cursor on close. Writing notes for GDEX. Nice. Are you doing a talk this year, or are you just planning on going around saying hi to everyone and doing all the fun stuff? Or does IUPUI have a booth there this year? I don't recall. All right, so we need to come up to here, not section view, conversation section. Here we. We're gonna go to view area. Say serialize field tooltip. Blah blah blah. Private rect transform content rect is going to be null. This is going to be rect transform for the content area. Oh man, the preferred size thing. Oh, oh no, I can just get it size delta. That should be fine. Used in height calculations. Playful UX talk, nice. We're going to have a booth, but I dropped the ball. Oh, you just forget to register. Let's see here. Content rect. Transform the content area. So I'm going to come down to here. So here, instead of expanded height, we're going to say math f dot min. We want this to be the content rect dot size. You know what? We might want to say get size. Do I not have that here as an extension method? Nope. All right. So I'm going to try size delta, which I think will work. Maybe. It's hard to say, but I'm pretty sure. We're going to go to size delta dot y. Yes, that's fine. So we're going to do that. Versus expanded height. It's going to be whichever one is the min there. So let's go ahead and come back down to here. Come back down to there. And then, that's pretty much all we need to do there. What's the other thing I wanted to do before we hop back in? I guess that's worth testing out real quick, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I had to get student groups in and everything. Yeah, that's fair. I assume trying to wrangle a school booth is pretty terrible. As funny as it sounds, we never actually had to do that at IU. Like it was never because Hoosier Games at the time was not like officially part of the game development program. There wasn't really that much red tape. We just kind of all dogpiled in, and that worked out pretty well for us. But for a more official association, there are probably a few more hoops you have to jump through. Plus, like you said, you have to figure out how to or wrangle all the students. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop back here. We're going to turn on our UI. I'm just going to come over to here, give myself 1200 because that's always what I do. I'm like 300. We're going to pop back here, kapow. All right, we need to assign our background here. Import content. So I believe this is a size. So this is a size delta of 20 because it's got a height. Yes, nice. That's what I was hoping for. Cool. So I can just drag this in here. Pow. And let's go ahead and hit apply. Delete you. Turn you off. All right. Also, I'm going to change one quick thing, which I actually think is going to be here. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go back here to conversation view. I'm going to set up alignment here. So I'm going to say align equals center line. Okay. That's just going to give me some centering instead of having it be to the right. So now, when we hit play, I'm reasonably sure. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's what I was forgetting. Hold on. Two things. One, I can now do this. Not that it really matters. Align equals center. Do. Yeah, and then align. Okay. And the second thing I need to do is I need to come back here to conversation section, and this needs to be size delta plus 50. Actually, no, plus the min, plus collapsed height. And the reason for that is because if we don't have that, then our size delta there could be like 20y, which you saw, which would give it a shorter size actually. So we need to have that minimum amount as well. Yeah, the first convention that we ever did as a student group, I think, was not Pixel Pop, PopCon, and that actually wasn't too bad because we only had two projects there. But as you've seen in recent years, the game dev community at IU is certainly a lot more productive than we used to be. um, so they have a lot more games to show. All right, let's go ahead and hit play. All right. So let's go ahead and hit talk. We're going to go back. We need to set that up still. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do that. You were very rude. That totally did not work. Or did it? I don't know. Let's find out. We're going to go ahead and come over to UI, view container, conversation. Oh, sorry, not that. Input, root, output, new, viewport, content, text section, background, fill, history, scroll views, viewport, content. A height of 50. How did we expand all the way then? How does that work? We want the minimum value. So the size delta of 50 plus 60 is somehow larger than 300? That can't be right. Huh. Okay. That's super weird. Alright, well, a couple of things. One, I'm going to come over here, and then in initialize, we're going to go ahead and say basically this. Oh, sorry, not that. This. Kapow. Alright. That's super weird. I suppose I could cache this too. So let's go ahead and grab this. We're gonna cache this. That way I don't have to calculate it each time. We're gonna say float expand. We'll just say max height is equal to that. Okay. Let's go ahead and say max height here as well. That's also going to let me do this. Debug.log string string.format. That's going to take max height. Then pretty much these things. Okay, so we're going to say 0. If I could type. Okay. So that's going to give me an output log so that I can basically visually confirm what those values are and make sure that nothing weird is happening there. Because, I mean, we have sensible sizes set up. Collapsed height of 60, expanded height of 300. All those should work. I do not know what we're going to do about the input view, though. I'm really hoping that there is a easy way to set adjustments for a scroll rect. So in the past, I've always set their normalized values, so either 0 or 1, basically. And I say 0 or 1 because I almost never really have to do anything besides 0 or 1. So I've not had to do small increments there before. That's going to be new to me. So we're going to go ahead and say talk. Go back. Okay, we got that actually working. You are not at all expanding correctly, but you are expanding all the way, which is a bit weird. So it should be trying to expand to 110, but it's clearly expanding all the way to 300. Wrong thing. We're going to go down here to input, root, blah, 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 blah. Like right there, 300. Ah! There we are. My foolishness. Foolishness, Chris. There we go. Stupidness. That should fix the issue. Also, well, thank you very much. I didn't realize that Twitch had those little animated icons for that. I always thought it was just kind of the default one. I didn't know you could customize it. Alright, so I'm going to also... I'm going to change one thing real quick. I'm going to make this align left instead of align center. And then we're going to go ahead and play. I am grateful. I can use that 5 cents for gas money. I'm going to say talk. You're right. You should cheer $50 just to make up for that. Obviously, I'm kidding. We're going to go ahead and say nothing. Back. Boom. Okay, that looks pretty good. Nice. This should be hidden. I'm very angry that it's not. Yeah, that's not great. Cool. We're going to go ahead and come over here. I must not have it set to hide. Root, output new, viewport content, text section, go to our scroll view. Yeah, that's not great. Not sure what we want to do about that. All right. I wish you could hear me laugh. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Always fun to chat. I will see you, I guess, at GDEX this weekend. Okay, so we have that properly sizing now. Let's go ahead so you can see that we have that. That's pretty nice. This actually is something that's problematic. I'm going to go ahead and say like hit eat. Also, this is good to know. I was a little worried that it wouldn't space properly. So if we click that, we can expand that. It expands down, which really is the problem, isn't it? I wonder if we can fix that by just setting our pivot. That won't work anyway because this is how that's working. So womp womp. But hey, let's go ahead and experiment while we're here. Ooh, okay. Oh, ooh, it did not care for that. Not at all. So this text section is 1, and that text section is also 1. Oh right, that's the intro. So so I'm wondering if we can get around this expansion issue just by changing how this works. So what if we set this? So if we set this to 1, then it goes too far. But what if we set you to 0? Then the opposite But is that just because I'm being careless? It kind of is. Okay. Whamp whamp. Um, what if I did this the other way? Let's go ahead and change this to 0.5 again. Also, is our empty section set to that? Oh, great. They all are different, which is gross. So I want this section to be spaced correctly to match up with everything else. That's problematic, though, because it's wrong. So we're going to set that to 0.5 again real quick. We're going to go down here to background, and I'm going to try setting this to be 0. Nope, that's not it. How about 1? Nope, that's also not it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop. We're going to jump back over here to our test UI. We're going to open you up, open you up. So we got to change this. This text section needs to be a couple of things. One, I'm going to go ahead and revert it just to be safe. And we're going to set our pivot to be 1. This is very interesting to me. I don't understand where that extra space is coming from. Because you should just be there. Oh, I see. It was just... Oh, well, that might be all we needed to do then. Let's try that. Just out of curiosity. So we're going to go ahead and come back over to here. I'm going to set this pivot to be 1. Let's see if that was enough to fix it. Because if we can get that to expand the way that we want, then things will be pretty nice. Let's find out. Not hit. Talk. We'll go ahead and... Oh, dear. Terrible things have happened. I was going to say, that means I left UI on. Let's try that again. Yeah, my UI system will search the scene for a reference of the UI when we're playing in the editor before it tries to like instantiate one. Let's go ahead and do smart. Go back. Darn it. Yeah, I'm reasonably sure that I have to basically... Oh yeah, we need some more padding here too. I'm reasonably sure that we need to basically set this up to force it to grow from the top. Can we do that even? I don't think we can. I'm trying to think though. Nope, I'm pretty sure we can't. That's unfortunate on several levels. All right. Well, let's go ahead and try that. Um. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Trying to think about the best way to do it because we have situations like this. So in this case, we actually don't mind if it expands everything down. That's highly vexing. I see. I know why that's doing that then. We're going to go ahead and come down here real quick. Alright, padding. So we need from the right. We can't control that because you suck. We're going to make you 10 from the left and then from the right, and we're going to give you 0 and 0 and 0 and 0. There we go. That's what I thought. So we want this to be probably like 15. Oh, dang it. You know what? 10 and 15. We'll just make this consistent. 15. Okay. We need to change this, how this works, because it's a little too close, which means that, man, that really sucks because it makes it so much harder. I wanted to use this line up here as the clipping, but that seems to be out of the question, which is very sad. Okay, so question. How do we want to handle this? So if I give you from the top, are you going to scroll? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's more problematic. So I basically don't want to have any padding from the bottom, but I want to have padding from the top, and we want to change our content to be scaled left and right. Our scroll view itself doesn't have to do anything. Okay, so we're going to pop back here, turn you on, come back over to here, kapow. We're going to come back down to here, krakow, come back down to here, history, scroll view, import content. All right, so the content needs to be 15 and 15, 0, 0, 10 and 0. And then, I think that's all we needed, right? Yeah. Reasonably sure that that's all we needed. All right, so let's go ahead and give that a try. I'm going to hit apply, turn off the UI. Let's go over there and talk. So I'm thinking, since we can't really do anything to have the pivot automatically adjust in a reasonable way. Honestly, even if it had adjusted up, we would probably just run into the same problem where it would potentially go up off screen. So do that. We're going to go back, click to expand. Smart. We're almost there. I forgot something. What did I forget? One of these scroll views is wrong. But what? Well, it shouldn't be that. But you know what I bet is happening? Really now? Oh, oh. Out of curiosity, let's go ahead and add 10 to our height here. This is going to be 40 now. Okay, yes, so we need to include the padding. So we're going to go ahead and come up to here. We are going to add a serialized field, tooltip, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and, well, here, let's do this first. Private. I think I made it a vertical. Layout group, content group is equal to null. I'm going to go ahead, it's fine for here. This is going to be layout group for the content rect. So we're going to come down to here. We're going to do this, and then we're going to say plus content group dot padding dot top, I think. Yeah. All right. That is pretty much all we need. As a bonus, let's go ahead and say content group dot padding dot bottom as well, just to have that in there. I don't think we'll need it, but it's good to have. Um, all right, so while that's happening, let's go ahead and turn this all on. I must say I do really like the new 2018.3 and newer workflow for prefabs much more than the old way. It's so much easier. Okay, we're going to go ahead and revert that. Um, and then I'm going to go ahead and just grab this. Kapow. That's all we needed. So let's go ahead and hit apply. Go ahead and just do that. Okay. Let's try that again. And I'm reasonably confident that it will work as we would expect this time, which means the only real thing that we need to do at this point is handle the toggle open and close. So we're going to say talk smart. Okay, we're going to go back, click to expand. Nice, we don't have any problems here. We're going to go ahead and collapse that again. I'm going to say hit the king. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the king again. I don't have that clearing yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Wow. Right. So sections are added to when we call check topic. And let's go ahead and come up to here. We'll do it here, I guess. Private void cleanup sections for int I equals 0. I is less than sections.count. I plus plus. At the very bottom here, we're going to say sections.clear. And then we're going to say sections of I dot initialize, which I don't think actually recycles itself. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and say pool manager dot recycle sections of I dot game object. All right. Then we're also going to go ahead and up here in close, I'm going to say, we're going to go ahead and say clean up sections. Okay. And that should be enough, so let's go ahead and let that compile. I want to see what happens when we have multiple conversations in one session. Because it should be fine in theory. But it's always good to be sure. So let's see here. In addition to that, is there anything else we really needed to do? The conversation view, by the way, is in a pretty decent state, obviously aside from that one thing. I want to make it juicier, but I'm not sure how to do that quite yet. I have some ideas, but I'm not 100% committed to them yet. So we're going to go ahead and say talk. I'm going to do smart. Let's go back. You can see that that's like that. Cool. Let's go ahead and we're going to say hit, and we're going to say talk again. Okay, all of this is true. You know what's... Well, no, actually, those should... Yeah, they're recycling. So the label gets recycled automatically, which is good. Let's go ahead and say... I'm going to go ahead and do king, because that'll change his name, which should change the output section as well. Let's try a couple of different things. Okay. I want to test this as well. Let's do Hefe. And I'm trying to make this pretty much as long as possible. We're going to say stick. And then let's go ahead and do the Necronomicon. All right. Let's go back. Nice. So you can see here that it's King is the first one because that's what he was known as at the time. And then the second one is his new name that you know him by. Let's go ahead and expand that. That should be clamped. All right, nice. So you can see, shoot, this isn't what I wanted. Did I put, was I stupid? I shouldn't have been stupid, but it's possible. Conversation view. Yeah, I did. I did the color tag. That was stupid of me. Okay, so that's a simple oversight. But you can see here that we do have the various dialogues presented. So we have your inputs on the right and then the responses on the left. It's very vexing to me that that's how it is. I guess it makes sense we read left to right. Right, it's just a little awkward having them be like that instead of being aligned to the left. But I don't really want to. I would like to keep the same format so you can see like right are your notes and left is the kings. All right, so that works pretty well. Go ahead and collapse that, and then expand that. Collapse that again, and then expand that again. Oh, that's so problematic. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Crap. I don't like the pop in there. That's not great. It's not great at all. That needs to change. Yep. Also, I can't really tell if it's evaluating along the curve or not. It doesn't really feel like it. You have a curve there, and it is easing out. It's just a little too subtle. I guess it's kind of there. So yeah, we have a problem in the sense that we need to change how this works. Also, I'm pretty sure I need. That sucks. Hold on. Let's open this up. View container input. Boop. Boop. Wrong thing. Boop. 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 I'm gonna come over to here. Boop. 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 Scroll view. We're gonna give this a spacing of. Yeah, we don't want it to be -3. Let's go ahead and give it a spacing of like 5. Let's do the same thing up here. Spacing of 5. Nice. Okay, so we can do that. So we're going to give ourselves a spacing of 5 for the scroll view. That will give us a little bit of padding over here so it's not quite as jarring. That's pretty good. You know what probably should happen? I didn't test this real quick. Let's fix a couple of things first. So one, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. No. Darn it, I forgot what my own JSON does. Darn it. Okay. 2 is what we want to get rid of. I should comment this. Player speaking. Avatar speaking. Non-speaking response. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this color tag. We're going to come down to here. Okay. There we go. That should make that a little bit better. So when we play again, we're going to see what happens when we return from with a long conversation log because I need to know what happens if it's scrolled all the way down or up, basically. If it's scrolled all the way down when you open it up for the first time, then we need to force it to be scrolled to the top when you initialize it. Excuse me. Yeah. I probably could have gotten rid of those. All right, so let's go ahead and try that again real quick. Say talk. We're gonna go to smart. Let's go king. Let's go boom. Let's go half A. Let's go sure. And let's go ahead and do hello. Jacksonville. Ah, dang it, I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Or maybe it's just not responding. We'll just do king again. Okay, let's go ahead and hit back. All right, so it's lined up at the top. That's good. But actually, it might not be. I bet if we recycle it, it might be weird. So we have this. I totally forgot to set the offset too. So cool. You can see here that we now have. Oh, that's really annoying. I should probably. Not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it makes it very apparent that you can click on it, but at the same time, it makes it hard to read if you're hovered over it. It's also really awkward because of that. Ah, man, I really wish I'm not sure what to do about that. No. In any case, you can see here that we do have non-dialogue responses are now just with the default color, which is good. His speaking lines are colored to match the avatar's color, so that's good. You are zoomed in all the way, and I do not know. Okay. That's curious. I'm gonna check that out real quick. View container. It looks like it's hugging the bottom too much. So input root output new content blah 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 blah. Not the header history blah. Interesting. Yep, it's like hugging it too much. Let's go ahead and pop this. We'll give it 10 from the bottom. There we go, that's much better. You are very problematic. Okay, maybe it's just because it initialized weirdly. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. I'm gonna come down to here. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna give you 10 from the bottom. And we're also gonna go ahead and come down to here. Go to our scroll view. We're gonna set you up to be 5. All right. I'm going to talk, then clear, and then I'm going to talk again, which should give me a slightly different version for that. Oh, and deinitialize probably should change things, but it's fine for. Yep, that's definitely not going to work actually. So I'm going to go ahead and talk. I'm going to do this. Just going to hammer that home a few times. Let's go back. Okay, you can see that. We're going to scroll down. And then I'm going to go ahead and type clear. And that's not going to be the only thing that's busted about that. We're going to try talking again. King, smart. King, smart, king. Kapow! Everything is the same. So I need to deinitialize that, and I need to initialize it. Cool. Um, um, man, that's rough. Okay. So, in our conversation section, we're going to come over to here. I'm going to go ahead and say override deinitialize. Oop, not that. Just deinitialize. Override deinitialize. Okay, based on deinitialize. Oh, crap. Text is equal to nothing. Deinitialize text effects. Okay, that's all fine. And then in addition to that, we're going to want to say content or no, scroll area dot normalized vertical position is going to be equal to 1f. Let's go ahead and do that. And in addition, we're going to say is expanded is equal to false. All right. Oh no. Let's find all references here. Input view. This is only when we call clear text, and only when we call. Well, I guess if that's it. Really? When is clear text called? Find all references. Open. So we call clear text on that. Force clear, and then clear coroutine. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and pop back over to here. Deinitialize, so we have vertical normalized position is equal to that. Okay. Then we also have to set section layout element dot preferred height is equal to collapsed height. Okay. So this should properly reset that, so that when we open it up again, it'll be set to be normalized at the top, and it will be set to be collapsed again. So let's let that go. After that, we're going to try to tackle our input menu repositioning, I think. And once we have that, that's basically all the big hurdles for the conversation system. They'll be in. At that point, it's just a matter of content. Ooh, very awkward. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a different thing. That's a thing for a different concern, or for a different time. So for this, go ahead and talk. Smart. Back. All right. Okay, so that's, we're going to go ahead and have it scroll down to there. I'm going to hit clear. All right, we're going to go talk. I'm going to go King Smart. Okay, pretty decent. I'm going to go back and ba-boom. Ba-boom. Nice. All right. So that is all set up. And we do have proper padding on this. Awesome. Our main problem is you. How on earth? Terrible. Okay. That's not great. So basically, if this is below the midpoint, it's going to be visible. Because of course it will. Cool. What to do about that? Okay, let me think. So we gotta hide that. I think we have to disable that scroll bar. For now, I am not going to worry about it. I am going to focus on the input menu scrolling, and then we will come back to this, just because the input menu scrolling is the more pressing of the matters. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to stop playing. that all seems to work for the most part. We'll go ahead and get rid of some debug logs. Get rid of you. I'm going to come back over here to conversation view. Oh, this is something I need to do. Then again, maybe not. Question mark. Okay. Debug should be done in close, I think. Yeah. So we're just going to get rid of that. Okay. And then... Okay. So for this, clean up sections. All right. I think we're pretty good there. So let's go ahead and hop over to input view. I'm going to collapse a couple of things that we don't really need. I think we're good there. Good there. We probably want those open. Get rid of a couple of things. Okay. All right. So, it's problematic. We don't want to. Thinking about this. So we don't want it to expand if it's not touching the borders, basically. Because if we do that, then we basically have the opposite problem where it expands upwards, which is what would happen if we had been able to solve it naturally with pivots, but that's not a thing, really. So we need to figure out what we can do here. Because, I mean, I can do something like this, where I call scroll area dot vertical. Oh, really? I can only do vertical normal position? Oof, that makes it even harder. Trying to think about what we would want to do there, basically. Yeah, that's all kinds of problematic. Man, what's really bad about it is that even if I try to expand it or scroll it while it's expanding, we have a problem in what happens if the player scrolls while it is scrolling. It will be weird. Hey, 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 hey. Crap, 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 crap. Okay. This is problematic. Because I mean, we can do something with the vertical scroll bar directly. We can set its value to be equal to something, and that would do the same thing as setting the normalized value of the scroll rect and or setting the non-normalized value of the scroll rect. But it gets to be problematic. I mean, it's only opening for 1 second. It's unlikely that players would need to scroll. but that doesn't mean it can't happen. And when players are scrolling, we would presumably want to not scroll the input view. Right, right. Ugh. You know what would be really nice is if scroll area had a like on. I guess there's a value change thing. We could kind of do that. That's actually a good question. I'm curious. Are these all public? Or did I refactor that? Okay, they are public. Um, I'm just curious. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say this is gonna be purely a test case for now. So private void on scroll changed. So we're gonna go ahead and say UI dot right. Go up to here and say using sleepyowl.comment. We're gonna say avatar. That is not at all what I wanted to do. We're gonna come down here and I'm gonna say UI.getView input view dot scroll area dot on value change dot add listener on scroll changed. So it takes a vector 2. This is a delta. I guess it's just a call. I'm gonna go ahead and say debug.log delta.to vector string. Okay. That is something that should work. We're gonna go ahead and come down here. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say dot remove listener. Okay. So what should happen here is I want to test if that value change gets fired when the scroll area resizes or only when it moves. Because what we could do is when we're expanding it, we can listen for the scrolling. And if it detects that you're scrolling, it's just going to immediately terminate that coroutine. So it won't try to scroll the input view. Let's go ahead and clear that. Or I guess it wouldn't terminate the coroutine because that's probably going to be inside of the coroutine for adjusting the height. Instead, it'll just not do that bit of logic, which should work. So let's see what happens. Talk. Go ahead and say smart. Okay. I am going to actually assume that that means the answer is yes. So I'm going to go ahead and say like hit. And then I'm going to collapse this. Yes, it is. Also, fantastic. It's moving in tiny, teeny increments for the delta. That actually is the delta, which is so gross. No, it can't be the delta because the x position should never change. These are normalized values then, aren't they? Yep. Cool. So that is less helpful, unfortunately. Um, okay. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's unfortunate. That means we can't discover that. That means I would have to write my own version of it. to fire that event. Boo. Okay. Hmm. 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 Cool. Um. So about that. What are we gonna do about that? I can't. Also, does it only fire if? Okay, so if I scroll down here, will it not? Cool. So that does only cover delta, which is nice. Oh, that's interesting. Cool. So it'll actually only scroll when it's over the scroll bar. That's nice. I was worried it was going to do it whenever it was like over the entire panel. I was going to try to figure that out, but I don't have to. So yeah, this is problematic. I'm reasonably sure that this whole thing this is what position it's at. So if we like move this all the way down, that'll get close to 1. Yep. And if we move that all the way up, it'll get basically down to 0. Um, okay. Problematic. So, what can we do here? Um, I can't. I can't easily set it. I can't easily set its position. I was really hoping that I would be able to, but the scroll bar and the scroll rect are going to be resizing while we're expanding and collapsing it actually. Mm. And this is the problem that we're trying to avoid, right? Um, we're basically saying that when you're at like this position, if you click, it needs to be obvious that there is something for you to do, or that there's other things below it. And I mean, it's kind of doing that, right? It says click to collapse, which implies that there's something there, and you can kind of see it going off the edge. I just don't want people to get into a situation like this where they are clicking on it and nothing seems to be happening. Also, I need to set the mask there to be a little bit different. Now, don't I? Um, right. So boo boo hoo hoo boo. Okay, a couple of things also. I just want to test this. Root output new viewport content and all the way down to here. Boom 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 boom. Come down to here. I think we want the viewport. Yes. So we want to change this to be scroll view. I think we want to say 10 from the top. Because now, that's too much actually. 5? Really? 4? 3? What an oddly specific thing to be. Alright, so 4. Super weird. Okay. I guess 3 it is. Cool. Weird. But whatever. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I guess I can just leave it as is and then playtest it to see how people react if they get stuck. Because I could be overly concerned about this issue. Um, Past experience has taught me to be skeptical of that, but well, skeptical of feeling over concerned, not so much skeptical about being over concerned. Um, uh, okay, so that works, I guess. Okay, let's see. So if we're not going to resolve that, just because as of right now, I'm not sure what a good way to do so would be. Um, at least not in a clean way. I think we can move on to what is pretty much the last bit for this conversation system, which is um, opening and closing the menu. Right now, it's pretty snappy. It would be nice if I had like an intro ASCII animation and ooh, hmm, hmm, hmm. I'm trying. Sorry, I'm kind of like storyboarding a couple of ideas in my head. Uh, so, hmm. The move that I would kind of like to do is have the ASCII art fade in and then have a black background fade in while that's happening, and then basically have the ASCII art move into position. That would be the ideal situation. But we got problems on top of that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I'm thinking here are a couple of ideas. So if we have I guess let's go ahead and play real quick so that we can have the menu open, and I can discuss components of it. Um, so what we would want to have happen, I'm thinking, is when you talk, the avatar would kind of pop in. So when we hit talk, tackle, talk. So it just like pops into existence right now. But what could be nice is if we have the avatar basically um, like fade into view in center screen and then have this black background fade up while that's happening. And then we have the avatar move over to here. We have the name, or while it starts moving from the center to the position over here, we have the name typewriter out. And then we can have elements slide in from off screen. So I think that would work pretty well. Uh, hmm. Thinking about what we would do. So that would work. Although now that I think about it, I'm not actually sure if he's idling. I don't think he is. I think the avatar right now doesn't animate until we say something. Um, just to be sure, let's go over here to avatar area, conversation avatar, debug. Yep, it's not animating. Um, hmm. Okay. So hmm, trying to think about how we would want to do this. I don't know if we want to play an animation or have them strike a pose, and then have them start animating once they get into position. That wouldn't really be too bad of an idea. There could be a pretty cool typewriter effect where it like forms the avatar while it fades up, and then um, from there we get some nice effects. Although if we do the typewriter effect, that's going to be difficult because we can't just do it like we can't just do typewriter from 0 to whatever the length of the string is. We have to typewriter the head and the eyes and the mouth in sync, which is a little awkward. Um, So, what to do about that? Hmm. Well, I suppose the obvious. Oh, and then we also have to think about how we are going to do, or how we're going to handle getting rid of them. Presumably, once you're done talking, the same thing would happen in reverse, where all the elements fly off screen and the avatar just shoots up. Maybe. Actually, I guess the avatar could scoot off to the right, basically, and then we could have a little like ASCII animation of them looking over to their right, so screen left, with them going off screen. That would work pretty well. Hmm. Hmm. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Good question. Good question. Good question. All good questions. All good questions all around. Um. Sorry, I'm just kind of firing on or going on rapid fire here with scenarios in my head. We might call it a night a little bit early tonight, just because I have a couple of ideas I'd like to sketch out, just to get a feel for this, for how I want to move these things. Because I could see moving or position. I could see having the head fade in first with the black background, then start moving into position, and then having everything move in off screen. Or we'd have everything move in off screen, then have the avatar's ASCII art come in from the right, and then have once they reach their final destination there, basically having the label type out and then having the back button show up. Um, that would work. It's not exactly ideal. Hmm. Yeah, okay. I think we're going to end a little early today because obviously I'm hemming and hawing, trying to think of the best way to handle this. Because once we have that, that's the conversation system. It's in. There are improvements I can make, incremental ones obviously, but the bulk of the systems are in, and they are functional, which is always good for me. So okay, announcements. Reminder again that I am going to be at GDEX this coming weekend, so I will not be streaming this weekend. I am also not going to be streaming this Thursday because it's the last day before GDEX, and I always do hot fixes and other minor adjustments just to make things feel a little bit better um, the day before I go out. And so I will not be doing my dev stream on Thursday this week either. But we should be good. Next week, we'll come back at our regular time on Tuesday, and we should be able to talk about feedback from GDEX. So cool. Uh, I don't think I have anything aside from that. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.